Good day. Now I will be going to discuss to you understanding hypermedia. When we say hypermedia, it is nothing but multimedia, but this time packaged as an educational software where information is presented and students are integrated in a virtual learning environment. Most educational IT applications are hypermedia, and this include: first is the tutorial software packages. Second is the knowledge web pages. Third is the simulation instructional games. And the last is learning project management and others. The presentation of information learning in hypermedia is said to be sequenced in a non-linear manner, meaning that the learner may follow his path of activities, thus providing an environment of learner autonomy and thinking skills. This fact makes it therefore important to understand hypermedia in educational context in order to ensure that there is successful integration in the teaching and learning process. The flight simulator used to train pilots is an example of a highly developed hypermedia program. Observe that it stimulates an environment that allows students pilot to practice authentic tasks while reducing the load of the cognitive mode of learning. There are characteristics of hypermedia applications. There are two important features that are outstanding among other features that characterize the hypermedia software. First is the learner control. This means that the learner makes his own decisions on the path, flow, or events of instruction. The learner has control on such aspects, sequence, page content, media, feedback, and etc. that he or she may encounter in the hypermedia learning program. The next is the learner wide range of navigation routes. The learner controls the sequence and pace of his path depending on his ability and motivation. He has the option to repeat and change speed if desired. The learner also has a wide range of navigation routes, such as by working on concepts he is already familiar with. Next is the variety of media. Hypermedia includes more than one media, including text, graphics, audio, animation, and video clip, but does not necessarily use all types of media in one presentation, since only virtual learning activity takes place. It is important from the standpoint of the teacher to optimize the learning process by identifying the characteristics of media application, as well as the advantages and limitations of such an application. Given all its capabilities, hypermedia still does not replace life experience and learning from nature and life. This is the saying that information and communication technology cannot replace the teacher altogether. Note that even technologists admit that the computer has an IQ of zero, and it depends on what man can input or make it. GIGO, or garbage in, garbage out, is the very first principle that should be remembered about the computer. In the use of hypermedia, The following instructional events will prove useful to the teacher. It is also known as the 9 instructional events of Robert Gagne or Robert Gain. First is to get the learner's attention. Second, recall prior learning. Third, informing learners of lesson objectives. The fourth, introduce the software and its distinctive features. The fifth one is guide learning. 6, eliciting performance. 7, providing learning feedback. Assess performance. And for the last, enhance retention and learning transfer. So, I hope that you learned from this discussion. That's all. God bless.